Hello, Ken Carroll with Integris again. Sorry for the delay between the last video and this video. We've been particularly busy and just having a hard time carving out a few minutes to do a video. So this is a little bit impromptu, and what I want to do is kind of share a story that I ran across this week when working with a new prospective client. And I think it illustrates a real issue here. So this particular client, she's working with a relative, a friend, or someone that she knows. And this particular person, when we're talking about her website, he just keeps talking about the speed of the website. He doesn't talk about the overall nature of what needs to happen with web development. So, speed is very, very important. There's no doubt about that. We have Google hosting, and so we're very concentrated on speed. Even down to having a content delivery network and cache and all those other words that us nerds like to use. So, as we're working through this, all these other aspects are being completely ignored. And she doesn't have a balanced marketing approach, and her business is down 40%. Now, the take-home lesson is when you're working with a person that you like, what you want to be able to do is make sure that they don't focus on one element, kind of miss the forest for the trees. And, everything matters in this whole marketing thing. And in her case, the one thing that stuck out was website speed test and being so focused on it that all the other aspects are kind of being missed. So we're educating and working with her and bringing it around. So that, and then also working with someone that's really not qualified, but they're somebody that they trust is also an inhibitor in her getting back on track and being successful. So with that being said, that's my little story of the week. And what I want to do now is kind of talk to you about Facebook advertising. So there's a lot of confusion about Facebook marketing and advertising and having a Facebook page and all these things that kind of go along with it. Hold on one sec. Excuse me. So as we're looking at Facebook marketing, just think of it like two buckets, right? So you got your business page, and your business page is where people post and all that stuff, and then people like your page and follow you, and all that great stuff happens, right? Well, keep in mind that on that end, in that bucket, that when you post something, everyone in your list do not see what you're posting, okay? Only a percentage see. But it's good to have an activity, and it's good to actively boost your post, and it's good to actively do things within that spectrum. Now, when I say boost a post, basically you take a post and broadcast it. And we can talk more about that later. Today I want to talk to you more about the advertising end. And so the other bucket is advertising and marketing directly through Facebook in advertisements. So what we found is that a lot of people, when it comes to Facebook, they don't quite get the concept of how this thing works. So in our advertising portal, you're going to see we have three main categories of interest. We have awareness, consideration, and conversion. And I'll just run my cursor over that so you can see those titles right there. And so if you look at it, you see brand awareness is number one under awareness, followed by, sorry, I got to get my glasses on here. Yeah, I know I'm doing a reading glass thing. But then you have reach. And then with reach, those are the awareness. And then in consideration, you have traffic, engagement, app installations, video views, lead generation, messages. And then in conversions, you have conversions, catalog sales, and store traffic. Now, any business worth their salt knows the most important one in here. Conversions, right? I mean, it does really matter how many people click to a website. Does it really matter how your brand how the brand awareness happens if no one buys your product? And so the knee-jerk reaction is to look at the conversion method, but then keep in mind that more effort and money and all these have to go into effect. The more complicated the conversion mechanism is. So plainly said, it's easier to broadcast brand awareness than it is to get someone to convert to a purchase. The effort's more difficult. So it could be more difficult from a lot of perspectives. Now, when we're looking at these three options, they all have their place. Brand awareness has a home, traffic has a home, and conversions have a home. But of these 12 or so different options that you have within Facebook, your business may require more than one of these efforts, meaning brand awareness may be good for your business and conversions, or maybe web traffic. And so to find the best mode for your business requires expertise, and it also requires interaction. And so if you're working with a Facebook marketing company and they focus on that, what you're going to find is that you should be having these conversations, and they should be recommending to you, okay, we think we're going to start here with the brand campaign because the cost is X. And we think that a conversion methodology may not be right for you initially, but let's try to get some web traffic and convert the web traffic. And then let's have this method of guiding people to become a conversion over a period of time. Now, typically, well, not typically, but if you have a web firm and they're not talking to you about any of these things, that's a big flag, because Facebook marketing is not Facebook marketing. You know what I mean? Every business is different, and understanding your business and the needs of your business are very, very important, and then choosing the right methodology and then adjusting it as data comes in is just as important. So I'm going to pause as I go through this so that I can look at the screens. I just basically, we're so busy that I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of re-editing and redoing the videos. And so this is strictly educational in purpose. So hold on one sec. Thank you for your patience. So web traffic is an option that I picked. And so what you're going to notice initially is there is a split test option, which is at the bottom once you choose traffic, and then also campaign budget optimization. And so you can see there's immediate decisions that have to be considered when building a campaign. And some of these decisions, they kind of base on where you're at and what you know and things like that. So just keep in mind, there's a lot of options immediately from those 12 options. So with that, I'm going to click the next button over. After you've done this, the next step is to pick, what you're trying to do. So for traffic, most people are trying to get traffic to their website, but there are these other options. And you're also going to see that you can insert dynamic creative, and you can add offers. And as you move down the page, you're also going to see you can target areas. Like, for example, let's say I want to target Asheville. You're going to see that the numbers all dramatically change based upon my area. But then if I move down the page, notice I can also target age groups, men and women, languages, and I also have a host of other options that I can choose from demographics, their education level, life events. So if you just go through and look, you can see anniversaries, birthdays, they're married, unmarried, their parents, interest, and then you can also see there's several categories of behavior. So you see, this is very, very important, because what you want to do is you want to fine-tune your target market as much as you can. And then you want to be able to go back and make adjustments based upon the data that you get. And so tracking is very important as well. If you're not intimately involved in this, there needs to be conversations between you and the Facebook person, so you can harmonize both levels of profession. You know your business, they should know Facebook, right? And so by understanding this and fine-tuning as much as possible, you're going to maximize your opportunity to convert people learning about you to people interacting with you and then buying from you. And so just kind of keep that in mind. A couple of other mistakes that I see businesses commonly make is they'll leave the age group wide open. This is not good. I mean, just because you can service all age groups doesn't mean you should or you do consistently serve all age groups. For example, younger people, they may have more cash flow issues, and then you have middle-aged people who have one set of, benefits, and then you have senior citizens that also are beneficial to certain businesses too. So this whole idea of trying to serve every market and every business and leaving things wide open and targeting a whole city and not fine tuning oftentimes leads to a big waste of money. And so there's this process of discussion, figuring out where you're at, testing, researching, and adaptation. And if you're not constantly involved, when I say constantly, a meeting every other week should be sufficient. But evolving this and then fine-tuning it and then having a participatory role as the owner of the business so that you can help guide using your expertise and then seeing the results is absolutely, it's just fundamentally critical. And so if you're not getting this type of experience, then you need to start making decisions. Now, if we move down further down the page, you're going to see that we can also control our placements. And then we have a budget, right? Okay, well, you got to pay Facebook to advertise with Facebook. And you're going to see that you can have a daily budget, which most people do a daily budget. And you can put whatever you want that daily budget to be. Let me show you one more thing here real quick before we move into that. Notice that if you pick, let's just say, let me just grab a category here. Let's just go with, I don't know. Let's just say school level, and let's just say high school graduate. Okay. So notice when I pick a category, notice that you can exclude people or narrow the audience, meaning you can make it where they're a high school graduate and married, you see, or you can exclude a group, they're single or whatever. You can exclude or include groups to further fine-tune that market. That's really important. You don't just want to, because you want to add multiple characteristics of your target market to really kind of narrow that down. So once you've done that, then the next thing you want to do is look at your budget. And budget's kind of interesting in marketing because some agencies, what they do is charge a flat rate plus a percentage of your overall marketing budget to, for whatever reason they want to do that. From our perspective, we charge a flat rate and then we plug your information directly into the system, and that way 100% of your budget goes directly to Facebook or Google or wherever else we're advertising your business. This is good for you because we just want to make sure that it's full of transparency so that if we're making a recommendation to increase your budget, that we're not skimming money off the top and we have an ulterior motive than just trying to grow your business or make a good recommendation. And you really need to have this kind of relationship with whoever you're working with and make sure that there's full transparency in exactly where the money is going and exactly how it's working for you as well. And so anyway, just keep in mind that your budget, you want to make sure that as much of that as possible actually goes to your advertising, and the management fees are very clear in terms of what the management fees are for your business. So with that being said, I will pause. So now we're hitting the next level. So once you've set all that stuff up, then the next thing that you want to do is choose your business. And let me do one thing here. I just made a quick minor adjustment. And so what you do first is you pick your Facebook page and your Instagram account, because Instagram and Facebook, they're embedded together, so the advertisings can cross-platform advertise. So then what you do is you have a single image, a carousel of images or videos, and then you can have a collection. So you see you've got other aspects to test too, not just the demographic, but also the ad, the content of the ad, videos, pictures, collection of pictures, etc. But then as you move down the page, you can also test different images, and then you can put different messages, and you can send them to different pages and change your call to actions. So let's kind of break that down a little simpler. So one is images. Okay, the visual is what captures most people's attention. Now, if you use silly images and you're a serious business, you're going to turn off your demographic if that doesn't appeal to them. Adversely, if your market is more they do like seeing more funny, catchy, those kind of things. Then you can use those images. And so knowing what images to use and how to use them is very important. You just can't put an image on there and say, okay, we're going to use our homepage, or a photo of our team, or a picture of our truck, or a logo, or those kind of things. You really need to test different images, and you really need to test different, what we call to actions, which means what we want them to do. We're calling them to do something. So you have primary text, and you have a headline that you add to the image, and then you can add a description as well. This also drives, because the messaging that you give, you want to try a diversity of messages, and you want to try different things to attract people. So for example, maybe you want to have a discount, maybe you want to have exclusive content, maybe you want to give them a free download. Whatever the case may be, you want to work through this, and then you want to offer these different messages with different products or services. And then what that does is you start to find out what works and doesn't work. So if you're working with somebody and they're going, we're going to create your ads and we're going to run your ads, and you're giving them a budget and you're giving them all this, then you kind of need to know which ones are working and which ones are not working, not just for the sake of Facebook, but also it can also bleed into your other advertising and help you build better collateral in other places that will also encourage people to make you their choice for whatever you're offering. If you don't have the data, or if you're not getting that investigated as you go through things, then it's obvious that you're not getting the full benefit of Facebook advertising. So then we have a website or a Facebook event. Most people, not most people, a lot of people go with a web page. But you see, here's another common mistake. People will send either to a product page, or they'll send to the home page of your website, or a contact page. Now, this is not the optimal way to do this. What you want to do is really look at your services, and then you want to target services, but then build a special page. The vernacular is a landing page, and more recently they like the term pillar pages. Sometimes I think it's a little comical how they just label things differently to make them sound a little more, but the point is you send them to a page, and then that page is supposed to be highly optimized for what the ad is. So for example, if you're selling, electrical services, and but you also sell generators, and you send them to the homepage of your site, and there's electrical services and generators, well, you may lose them because they have to find the electrical services, and they got to find the residential electrical services, and then they've got to, they got to keep digging. And people don't like digging. They like going straight to what they're looking for, finding it, and then making a decision. It's just the world we live in today. And so you want to have a special landing page for residential home services that has a very strong call to action, such as call us, download, fill this out, schedule your free appointment, whatever it is, and then make that a very strong call to action. And there's all kinds of ways to do that are good, and there's all kinds of ways to do it that are really bad. But at the end of the day, when you build those pages, you want to make sure you're not only adjusting the ads, the images, and the text, but you also want to adjust that landing page, that web page that they hit, to make sure that page also is designed in a way that's going to entice them to work with you. And so if you don't do that, then you're just you're kind of wasting money, to be honest with you. I mean, there's not really a nicer way to say that. Then you're going to see you have a call to action. You can change whatever call to action you want to have. Book now, contact us. And we've changed these in context with the images and the text. And we're seeing that change in these call to actions in this mix and match game can increase your conversions also. So that can help. And so you want to be sure that this is all being tested by whoever you're using for your Facebook advertising. Then, of course, you want to track what's going on, right? And so by putting what's known as Facebook pixels is just a fancy way to say track what happens, right? And so if you put the pixel on, say, an order completion page on your website, or if you put the pixel on a thank you page after they place an order for your products. That starts tracking exactly what Facebook is doing versus what maybe your organic traffic's doing versus maybe your print collateral, billboards, radio, Google ads, whatever. It kind of breaks it all up, and then you can kind of go, yeah, Facebook's working or Facebook's not working, and then it helps you make decisions. And so your person that's working with you should be sharing all of this information with you and working with you and going, well, it's kind of working, it's not working. And then he said, well, why it's not working? And then you can have a real good, honest conversation about it. And, we're real big into just being down home with people and just having honest and open conversations. And that's another critical component to this. So you can also add URL parameters that also help you track. I won't get into the geek speak of that today. But you kind of see the point here of today's session. The point is that Facebook is not just Facebook, right? It's got a lot of pieces to it. And these pieces have to harmonize with each other, and you have to massage it, and you have to adapt it, and you have to figure out what's going on. Now, if you've got a lot of good historical marketing data, a lot of metrics, this kind of process of fine-tuning and troubleshooting is a lot more efficient. If you don't have a lot of data, or you've not been going through this process, odds are you're going to have to go through it even if you spend a lot of money in your advertising to date to try to figure out what's really happening. And then as you fine tune it, then you build a more predictable ROI model, conversion model to figure out how well it's working. So I hope this helps you out. I hope it gives you a good topical view of what's going on and what your expectations should be from your marketing team. And, if you ever need any help, give us a ring. We'd love to talk to you about your business. We do often offer free consultations. We also offer sometimes free introductions, kind of like compositions of what we think you should be doing. And then you can visually kind of see that, because a lot of times people like to see stuff. I mean, it's just our nature as humans. So anyway, thanks so much for listening today. I really do appreciate it. I hope this does help